Ready?
I'm ready.
We're about to commence the show.
Commencing
3,
two,
2, 1.
Welcome to All Talk.
Boo, 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 boo. Yeah!
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back to another week of All Talk with Younger Hunger, baby. Yeah! Wait, I'm going to keep it going.
Yeah, a little more. Okay.
The live audience is really loving it tonight.
Well, we're doing it tonight. Everybody's a little liquored up in the audience tonight.
Yeah, exactly. We got the crazy, the people who don't got to go to work tomorrow. Huh? You guys are crazy, right? That's a good point. Why don't we have... I mean, why can't you guys laugh in the audience?
Yeah.
Wait, I'm going to bring up something that I just remembered.
Okay.
I'm worried we might not remember.
Please.
And I'm going to test and see if everyone here remembered.
Okay.
Did we all fail to... Because the last week we introduced the beginning of the Younger Hunger movie club, which was really the Younger Hunger in this week's TV show club.
Wait, what TV show did we say we're going to watch again?
Get the club. Okay, so
I remember.
That's a fail.
I
Yeah.
remember.
Did you remember to watch it though?
Well, I did not watch it.
Yeah. See,
But
there
I
we go.
remember
maybe
what
I
you're
did
talking
watch
about.
it. Maybe I did.
And here's the
Well,
thing.
you
You already watched it, so you were safe.
Oh, I was.
Now it was the rehearsal with Nathan Fielder.
Oh.
Last week we talked about it. I rewatched the clip where we told everyone to watch it. Don't feel bad if you didn't watch it because we never even said the word. We never said the name of the show or anything. It was like you were beginning to say the words Nathan
No
Fielder.
way.
You were like, "Did you watch the Nathan Fielder?" And then I interrupted you like, "Oh, I heard it was out." And then we were
Yeah.
like, "All right, let's watch it. Let's watch it. What's on?"
Oh,
It's
that's
like,
so dumb.
We didn't even tell the
That's the
people like
dumbest
what
shit
the
I've
fuck
ever
to
heard.
watch. So we failed. We did not pass the vibe
Okay,
check.
this week,
The first week.
watch the first
This
episode.
is your redemption week.
even though the next episode's now out too. So
The next, now episode 2 is out.
Oh, it's not all at once. I like that.
Yeah, I will say it's like each episode's like 45 minutes, so it's a bit of a time commitment for a TV show if you're not ready for it.
dude, it's so good.
It is also the most grueling, like painful shit I've ever watched. And
Did you feel more so this one than Nathan for you?
This particular, I think so because it's exactly what as Nathan for You has a bunch of different elements inside of it. I'm sorry, we're already going to go into it, even though we said we'd save it for this week. But we're going to go into it a little bit.
Go into it.
But the most painful in terms of like cringe pain. The most painful things for me and Nathan for You were like when he's just talking directly with these like people, these normal people that he just like is digging these weird things out of them. And that's like this show was that for 45 minutes with this guy, but there were so many fucking like golden nugget moments. But it was so painful, bro. Like there were times where I just had to like look away from the screen for a moment. It was just so like I almost clicked off of it like 3 different times because I was like, I can't fucking take it anymore. He's so cringy. But
yeah, it's pretty. I felt though like it wasn't nearly as like mean as Nathan for You can be, and I don't mean that like I love Nathan Fielder, but Nathan for You feels like almost like predatory a little bit.
Sometimes the joke is on the like innocent
Weirdo,
person.
you know what I mean? Like it's like look how
them as
weird you are.
Yeah,
and that's like look.
I agree.
Point. But I will say it strikes me every time I have to turn off Nathan for You after like watching 2 episodes. But this one I felt like it's much more like slower paced. I think this is a perfect example of something you do when you get a way higher budget for your second.
Yes.
Because you could not do this idea. The idea is just for anybody who doesn't know, like the hook of the show is basically that like this guy Nathan Fielder, if you don't know who he is, he has a show called Nathan for You that got really popular where it's like he's helping small businesses with creative marketing ideas, but it's like it'll be ridiculous shit like I don't know, what's a good example?
Dumb Starbucks.
Dumb
Starbucks. You can break copyright law if you just do a parody. So like he was like, well, I'm going to make a parody of your coffee shop parody of Starbucks, and it was this whole like kind of viral moment. So it's a very like social genius type thing. So this show is different, but it has the same style of humor, and he's playing the same character, and it's like a version of himself similar to like Larry David and Herb, where it's like it's him, but it's almost like exacerbation of like his character, and like I'm sure it's true to him to some degree, but anyway, the show is about like he finds people and helps them, like if they're having a tough conversation with somebody in their life, he'll like completely help them rehearse the situation before they get into it. So he'll build like a set of like for example, in this episode, this dude does this trivia night with some of his friends at the bar, right? And he completely rebuilt the bar, like brick for brick, every
one for one
about it exactly, just so this guy could like rehearse talking to his friend. I'm sorry.
Come on, Beckett. Come on.
Sorry.
Shut on Beckett.
I don't think
Close up on Beckett.
anyway.
God bless the SM7B.
Yeah. Anyway,
Off-axis rejection.
I mean, it's just like it's totally crazy. No one else could do this idea because it would the amount of money this much must take. I mean, it's amazing. Whoever's like the whole team behind it's amazing.
That's what I was thinking. When they first showed that they had recreated the entire bar that they were going to have trivia at in this studio, they recreated the entire thing one for one. I was like, that is a fuckload of money for this fucking show. And they even recreated like the exterior of the bar so he can get his walk up just right. Like it is the most nuts and insane show. Also the most genius shit ever. I mean, and when the rehearsals start to sync up with what actually happens when it plays out, like they get an actor to portray like the guy they're helping out. And the actor, they nailed his cadence. I don't know.
I mean, just watch it.
It is so fucking insane, yeah. But it is truly painful. But I feel you. It's less like we're less like making fun of the actual guy, where it's like just the scenario is so ridiculous that's what's funny about it, rather than we're like picking on this weird dude and just like making a really awkward conversation with him. But it was painful, like just the back to back, and the guy ended up being such a character too, the like star of the episode. Where
I mean, they don't. The show doesn't work unless they find these people who just like
he was gonna bail on the whole concept if like the trivia wasn't going well. It was unbelievable.
I mean,
dude.
you just have to. We'll go more in depth of why it's so amazing.
I'm sorry, everyone, if you haven't watched it yet.
It's so good, dude. The
rehearsal on HBO. Watch that first episode. We'll talk about it again. It was painful.
Next week.
It was so good. It's truly amazing. But yeah, I wanted to see because I had forgot that we talked about like a movie club.
Yeah, no.
Until last night I watched it, but I was like, I wonder if like everyone else forgot. Yeah, because like I'm watching it like very last minute here. I wonder if anyone else knew. Yeah. Well, I have a weird thing.
Okay.
This is super random. This might be boring.
Yeah.
But like this is streaming service talk. Streaming service talk. Yeah. We love streaming services.
The streaming wars.
So I've had shit like this happen like with other artists when they release stuff, but like Lil Uzi just had an EP come out. But over the course of like the last 4 weeks, he's just been like dropping like one track from it, whatever. So he'd like drop a track and then the next day it would go up on streaming. And he did that for like 4 weeks and then...
They drop a track where? Before streaming?
Like, I'm dropping a track, like it's just on SoundCloud and then like the next day it's gotcha. Shit, it just popped up on Apple Music. Dope. Okay, hell yeah. Like new single. But now he's like, okay, now he's released, I don't know, like a couple days ago he was like, oh fuck it, I'll just drop the whole EP. So he had 4 singles out and now he just has like a 9-song EP where all those singles are in it. And the way it's formatted on Apple Music, it's not like all of the songs are together in one EP. Let me see if I could explain this. It's like each single is individual, and then it's the next 5 songs that he dropped all together, like separated. Let me try and explain this
like
better. God damn it!
No, I think I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like
so
the same album artwork like 3 times.
It's the same exact album artwork.
I hate that.
There's 4 singles. They're all different songs. They have the same album artwork. And then the 5th one is an EP of 5 songs. But really, they should be all together in one fucking thing for a total of 9 songs.
Yeah.
But it's 4 separated in singles and then 5 all at once. So, like, just to, like, play through the EP, I have to, like...
Make a playlist.
And make playlists. And then also making playlists on Apple Music is annoying. because if you save something to make a playlist, it'll like show your playlist on your recently added, but it will also show each individual song on the recently added. So now you're like cluttering your recently added with like duplicate shits, which that's how I always click on my Apple Music is in like recently added shit. That's
Me
where
too,
I always
and I
fucking
wish
scroll.
they would just make it recently played instead of recently added. That because like, I'm the kind of listener when I listen to music, I'll like listen to like I've been listening to King Cruel a lot recently, and you know like some of this shit I added years ago to my library.
Yeah.
But I can't but I'm listening to it now. I want it to be there.
I want it to be up there.
You know,
Like that needs to be the
Yeah,
preset
I got a
option.
solution. You gotta just stick to the queue.
I'm not doing it.
Because if you have like right now, I've got a little bit of King Cruel as well. Guess we're synced up. Had a little bit of Gnarls Barkley. Had a
Let's
bit
live
of
together.
had a bit of Demon
were
Days,
talking
you know,
about it.
as we do in Younger Hunger. You know, I had it all queued up, and then I added one there, and then I go through it, and I can just go back to it. If I go to something, and I'm like, you know what, I'm not really feeling this anymore. It was a one-off. Take it out of the queue. You know,
See,
but it's like I can keep going through my loop. It's like me.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I mean, I had
like
never,
that.
I'd never done queues before. Now I have to use the queue feature because it's like, okay, now I have to add these 4 singles individually and then add the 5-song EP behind it, like just to hear the fucking album in its correct order without me having to click each fucking song individually. It's just really annoying. And then I was having issues where I was trying to add shit to the queue and the prompt wouldn't show up to add shit to the queue. So now I'm just like,
And then
how the fuck do I even use this fucking app? I don't understand. It's so
Nothing
very
ruins
loud.
my day more than when I accidentally exit out of the app and I lose my queue.
Yeah, dog.
Is
you
that
know
a
what?
risk?
It's
That
like you
can
have
happen?
the weirdest. Like I respect how you do it because it works, kind of. But it's the same thing where you would like. Remember when you had like 850 like tabs on your Google Chrome open?
That's true. I did peek over at Beckett's
Yeah,
laptop
yeah.
once, and it was like, you know, usually you could see a little bit of what the tab is based on like the
Yeah,
you know,
like
yeah.
the first letter,
You
maybe.
could see
even.
like, oh, this is like a YouTube tab open, or this is like a something.
Oh,
but
yeah,
it was
I've
like
maxed
nothing.
it
It was
out.
like just a
Beckett, because
tabs.
you'll see things and you'll be like, oh, I want to watch this later.
Yeah,
So and then you'll open a new tab, but it's like you do that endlessly.
I do that too, but I
Funny enough, you won't use the YouTube queue feature. The
Well-
queue feature only works for you.
Here's the thing, I do.
That is a queue.
I do
Because that's
use the
actually
YouTube
what
queue
that
feature.
queue feature is built for.
The
You're
watch
using
later?
the iTunes. No, hold on. You're using the Apple Music queue feature wrong. Just suit yourself because you're a customized dude. You're using the YouTube feature. You won't do the queue where that's actually the whole point.
No, I do
Is
do the
it
YouTube
for-
queue, but I do the YouTube queue for.
You're a fascinating man.
I'll explain it.
Okay.
Because I have found that if I don't have, because when you have multiple tabs open, it's annoying. It bothers you guys. It bothers me as well. I
bothers me.
stare at it all day. But I found that if I just put it in the watch later, then I'm just not gonna get to it. And sometimes I'll go through, but it's like, you know, but I got these tabs up. I'm gonna get to those first, and so then I'll forget about like.
Yeah.
If I get to the watch later, it's like, well, it's not in the order that I had it. I can reorder my tabs. And like,
I'm with you. I think the watch later feature is fucking. I've had shit in my watch later for like 7 years. Like that shit does not come up. Like you have to really go out of your way for it.
No,
to, like,
but what about playlists,
rebot.
you guys? What about playlists?
oh,
How about-
I
I have
playlists.
How about this?
but
How
yeah.
about Google Chrome reading list? Do you guys know about the reading list?
I
It's
don't know
fucking
about the
amazing.
reading
I don't know
It's
what that is.
amazing, and we never use it. It's amazing.
Oh
and
no,
we
no, I do.
never
I
use it.
use that. I do use that.
All it does, dude, it's like if you want to watch something later or
Okay.
you want to read something later, you just press the 3 little dots at the next to the search,
Right.
and
yeah.
Yeah.
and then you just add it to your reading. It just adds it to this page where you could just. It's so simple. It's amazing. You watch it once, it's gone.
And then it's
Yeah,
It's
after
just exactly what you want.
after I got tab shamed a year ago, I
did-
decided
I did
that I
call
was
him out.
gonna.
We
That's
tabbed
when I
him.
first started like using the YouTube queue function and the reading list. And I feel like when I'm on my shit, you know, I get to it. But sometimes, like when I'm working throughout the day, if it's like I've realized that. You know, there's a million things you always want to like, oh, I just had this idea. I could go into this like idea for like hours and hours, but I'm working on this thing, but I just got this other idea. And I found the only way I can stay productive is like if I have the idea, it's like, all right, I just got to write it down and I'll come back to it. And so like,
Yeah.
the reading list is perfect, but sometimes I just have so many like, I get way too carried away and like, because all my issue is that I make the tab before I make the reading list, and I should just be doing it straight from the bat onto the reading list. But so then like I'm like, oh, I have 30 tabs to add to this reading list, and I just don't do it. But I use it
that's a
sometimes.
whole-
We need to move on from
That's
this
a whole.
topic.
Okay, yeah.
This is so not
crazy
interesting to
boring.
listen to. But I
So
will
boring.
say, ADHD gang out there, all you got to do, I agree, writing it down, dude, they tell you to do it, you don't do it, you need to do it.
You should have done it.
You need to do it. I
regret
don't know
it.
if you're still in school or something, but like every day, if I just write down all my like thoughts before, I'm so stressed out about forgetting shit. You just gotta write it down.
Yeah.
You just gotta write, and you don't gotta use those planners that they tell you to use at school. Fuck that shit. Just write it on a fucking piece of paper. I need to stop saying. Have you guys noticed when you're doing like with the podcast clips? Sometimes I'll be editing this stuff, and I'll have to listen to it over and over and over and
Okay.
over because we're uploading it. I'm
Yeah.
uploading it to something, and I'm just like, why am I cursing so much? I say the F word like
Yeah.
every other word, and I don't have I don't have a philosophical problem with saying the F word. I think it's a great word. It's my favorite word, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want like I just sound like
Statistically.
I sound like a. I see what I was about to do there. I sound like like an idiot. I sound like an idiot when I.
A Neanderthal.
A
The
Neanderthal.
way, yeah, you talk with your swearing like a sailor. I think I'm the worst offender too. Like I say fuck so much.
no,
I think,
dude, I might be. You and I are as bad as each other. I think.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. Because that is like one of my fallback words when I can't think.
Yeah.
Of the next word to say, or when I'm trying to think of the next word, I'll be like, and fucking, and like fucking, and fucking. Like, there's probably so many clips of me saying exactly those words together.
I wonder if we
And
can
it's
get
really
through a
annoying.
whole episode without saying the F word.
Maybe we need like a swear jar. And I need a like jar. I had no idea that I had this crippling problem that no one ever told me my entire life, that I just repeatedly say like after
So that
everything.
I actually didn't notice you did when you told me.
You say, yeah, you say like a lot, but I
never
do as
noticed.
well. So I don't think that.
I also
I
do
think-
kind of edit it out sometimes.
No, you gotta be kidding
I'm
me,
serious.
Beckett.
No,
The last
for you.
episode,
You
I
were
don't do
king.
it. I don't do it every time, but it's like when the podcast takes a single episode because you have to go back and then make it.
I get it. I
line up,
totally get
and
it.
you keep doing it. It's like it takes hours, and so I like, did I really say it that many times? And I'll just cut it out.
You know what's crazy about that?
What?
I totally get why you do that. And I feel the same way, and I wonder if like most of my life is just wasted because I'm recording things constantly, right?
Yeah.
Like, my lifestyle is like me recording shit and then editing shit, and I just realized I'm saying shit now. I can't stop cursing. But like,
yeah, you're pretty bad.
when I'm so bad, I'm horrible. I need to stop. But I'll be editing things to like a ridiculous. The more I listen to something, the more I hear the mistakes or whatever, music included.
Yeah.
And it's just that people don't. They're just not gonna care the way they don't know the alternate version where it was bad. And I'm spending so much time on this minute detail.
yeah.
God, it's just
The
it'll drive you crazy.
Beckett, if you're going in and trimming out your likes, but then it's like that's such a specific thing that only you will detect. I just feel like Tony and I are gonna look like idiots, and you're gonna look so.
Well, that's your big move, isn't it, Beckett?
That's your big
Well,
move is to slowly.
Look, truth be told, I'm
Like-
not so diligent,
like,
but I've done it when.
I've never even noticed. You're so good at it.
My point being
I
is
haven't
that
noticed.
I've only had to do it a couple times when it's really fucking bad. Last episode in
Yeah.
particular, there was one sentence when I was saying the story about the dream thing, whatever
yeah.
that shit was, and I said like every other word for 2 minutes, and I just rambled and rambled, just said like and like and like and like, and it was terrible. Normally,
wait, were you trying to explain a dream?
I was trying to explain.
Was that what it was?
I'm trying so hard not to say the word. I was trying. I can't even talk. I can't
This
even
is
talk.
like the self-censoring episode.
Yeah,
You're
we need to
trying not to curse.
we need to just get over that.
You're trying not to
Gotta
say
be
like.
act natural.
I'm just gonna say fuck instead.
That's probably the biggest thing that I can say about me is like rewatching clips. Is I'm like, who the fuck is that guy laughing? Like, is that even my laugh? Like, where did that come?
I know.
Because I feel like I'm unnatural. Like in a way, like I will sit here behind this mic and all of a sudden it's like I'm just like like 5 decibels louder than I usually am. I don't know like what that is. So maybe it's I don't know, just a level of me. Maybe we're all slightly disingenuous. Disingenuine?
yeah,
Just
we're
enjoy-
all critics.
Disingenuous, yeah.
Lucas is on average 8 dB louder.
That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Because
But
I'll
you're
watch
just
clips
better at the podcast.
Yeah,
laughing.
and you're more
Yeah,
entertaining.
better
and you
than me
also
and
have
Beckett
the
at
most engaging. It was so hard to edit with you sitting here because you also talk you and Tony talk significantly more than I do. And so you guys also love Tony will talk and Lucas says, yeah.
That's true.
Okay. And then Tony will say, right. And so then the cutting back and forth, I was like, oh my fucking God. Like this episode is going to be so easy to edit because you guys will be on the couch together.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did this for your sake. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I'll have to do the clip and then I have to do it the opposite way.
Did I ever, did you ever tell you guys a story about like, when we went to San Fran, like you had given me a ride up to San Fran. And I went with a friend and like we had been laid out at night. Okay, all right, maybe not. Do you remember when we were at that mansion and we did
Yeah, we went to a
something-
Victorian
yeah.
mansion where there was like 35 drug addicts.
In San Francisco, yeah, there's like 35 drug
I shouldn't
addicts.
say that. Like functioning drug
I knew
addicts.
one of them. Yeah.
AKA
And
a typical Younger Hunger show.
so that night we, maybe we can't say this. Maybe I can't tell the story. Is this not allowed? Well, whatever.
We
that
can crop.
Whatever. We did shrooms that night, and then we ended up going home, and everything kind of faded off. No one was like super high or anything. And then I was with another friend, and me and her were like, well, why stop now? This is like midnight.
Oh, I didn't
We're
know
in
that.
San Francisco, yeah. So we did more shrooms that night. You didn't know this?
No, I didn't
See,
know
there,
this.
here we go. Now I'll tell the story. So that night, we done more shrooms after we had gotten home and left you guys. And we were walking around San Francisco. We got back home. Now it was like, oh shit, we're really coming up. And we're like sitting inside as we're like kind of doing the shrooms and we're getting real high. And we're like, okay, we just need to like, I have like energy. We need to like walk around. It's like 1 a.m. We were up late at that one place.
Yeah.
So now we're like, fuck it, let's just go. So we put on our shoes and shit. We're in like pajamas, but we just like pop like sandals on. We're just gonna fucking walk around San Francisco. I have a Beats pill. Let's just fucking play music and walk around San Fran at like 1:30 a.m. Which is like, I would so never do that now, but that's what we're doing. In a strange city, we're just gonna be up on drugs and fucking blast music at 1:30 a.m. in San Francisco. So we're walking around. And we're playing "Awaken My Love" by Childish Gambino. That had just come out. It gives you a little idea of the time frame. And as we're walking, we're just walking down the street, and we have no idea where we are. We've been wandering for like an hour, and we just see this like bulky, like wall of a dude, a big shoulder motherfucker, just like on the other side, furthest side of the street. Pretty far away, like maybe half a block away, and he's just like, he's like stepping up, and it's like, and it's like 1:49 a.m. So it's like there's really no one should be like walking about, and I'm also high on drugs, and I just see this dude like he's on the other side of the street, far away, and now he kind of like jogs his way towards the side of the street that we're on. Now he's like a couple blocks, whatever, that way. And he's just like directly parallel to us. And he's walking towards us, the two of us. And as he gets closer, he's like wearing whatever, like a Terminator gangster wear. It's like leather biker vest with like spikes on the shoulders and like a hat, like a motorcycle hat, but one of those old, like, just like old school ones. And he just looked like a comic book villain. And this guy is like walking towards us. Directly fucking towards us, and I'm thinking now like all of my highness goes away, and it's just like this guy's gonna fucking come and like mug us. Like he's walking up to mug us. Like there's nowhere else he could be going. He's looking me in the eye, and he's fucking walking towards us. He's gonna like beat our fucking asses. So I had a pocket knife, and I had just like, instead of running, I thought in the moment like, I got this. So I had a pocket knife, and I just stood on the corner of the street with the knife out in my hand as he's like walking towards our direction. And I just stood there like waiting for him to approach as if like I'm going to fight him or something. and just stood there, and he's walking by, and then fucking like he just walks right past me. Like, of course, he just walks right past me. He's not like, wasn't trying to attack me at all. And then I like turn around and realize that, oh, my friend that I was with had just kept walking. Like, I didn't tell her that I was going to stop and like try to take a stand against this guy. And like, she doesn't have her phone. It was just me with the phone. So now I'm just fucking lost in the city at like 2 a.m. She had just kept walking without noticing that I had stopped. And so now we are just completely separated. And fuck. I feel bad because I got so deep into this story, and then now there's like, that's pretty much basically the end.
That's crazy.
All that happened was I ended up buying an Uber back, and my friend was already there.
Well, hey, if you didn't have that pocket knife, that's probably why he walked past you. You know?
I don't know. That was
No, you know what? In the future, I think just to give anybody, if you're in the situation, I think definitely don't open the pocket knife. You have it in your pocket.
I was standing there. I had taken the blade out. I had taken the blade out on a street corner, facing him as he's walking towards me, and I'm just standing there, like legs wide in the stance,
so crazy that
with
you
a
did
knife
that.
in my hand, and he's just like.
Imagine what he saw.
Exactly. What he saw was a real crazy person.
Yeah,
like,
he's telling this story like I just saw some kid who was clearly high.
Who was clearly high.
With a knife.
Yeah, with a knife.
Staring me down.
Who stopped and whipped out a knife.
Position.
That's exactly what he saw, the crazy person that night. But in my head, I was so paranoid about being approached or mugged by someone that I thought they were the crazy person. And I had abandoned my friend. So luckily she knew the city and she just walked back. But I found an Uber. Just so you guys know, you can get an Uber at 2:30 a.m. in San Francisco. So,
oh yeah,
good to know.
you're safe there.
Hey, you know what? Different comment. We always think it's like, oh my God, what am I gonna do now if there's like a phone? Somebody doesn't have a phone. You just think like, oh my God, what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
And every single time this happens to me, something like that, where it's like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? They don't have their phone. It turns out fine.
It turns out fine.
It turns out completely fine. I never actually have like nothing's ever really gone left, and it makes me wonder like why I spend so much time worrying about dumb shit. Why?
I think I'm
Yeah.
so much worse with directions because of my phone and my like personal reliance on GPS to navigate me somewhere, where it's like I will know in my head the right way to go or how to get there, and the GPS is telling me to take some exit or take some turn, and I'm like, I don't have enough confidence in myself to trust my memory. So I just trust
that's
the
the real
GPS.
problem,
I'm like, this
isn't
is a
it?
fucking issue, and now it's a 20-minute longer commute because of this fucking computer and my phone didn't fucking work.
I'd say wisdom of the week: trust yourself. You need to just take this week. I challenge everybody who's listening to this,
unless you're on mushrooms,
the decision.
then just stay inside.
Unless you're on mushrooms, but if you're not planning on doing mushrooms anytime soon,
and don't have a knife on you.
and you don't have a knife on you,
You should not have a knife.
just try 1 week of just deciding, nah, I'm just going to do this just because I think that was my first thought to do something like that. So
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. And I wish I could be more specific, but I can't because of the nature of what we're talking about. But I find myself like constantly overthinking every little decision I make, and it's driving me crazy. It's driving me nuts.
And specifically on that, like, what pains me even more is like all the time I'm spending overthinking shit is just like that's time I could be using to just like solving the problem
actually
or like
doing it.
attacking
100%.
the issue
100%.
that is stressing me out. Like for weeks I was like, I don't know, it was just so fucking annoying, like the amount of time I will just like waste like writhing around. Or if I have like a deadline coming up, instead of like practicing for something, it's like I'm just sitting there worried about like the deadline. And it's like, dude, you could just be It's so stupid. Like I don't know what the fuck.
And then
that
you
is.
start
Like,
layering on other. Then you start getting stressed out about that because you know that. So you're like, shit, I'm doing that thing again where I'm not
Yes.
just doing the thing, and it's paralyzing. You start layering shit on.
Yes,
and
and then
it's just a feedback loop of insecurity, and it's such bullshit.
exactly. Like in between every one of those freakouts, you're having like. Like there's like a self-deprecation to it, so you're just like shitting on yourself
Because
and
you're
then falling back
aware
to
enough.
old habits.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You have a level of self-awareness, which is good, but it's also now you're beating yourself up for like being aware of it and still not doing anything about it. It's just like so dark. I had like a full-blown. Sorry, this might get like serious, but I had like
serious.
a full-blown anxiety, an actual when people talk about like anxiety attack. I think
Physiologically, like what was happening in your body?
Yeah, I think I've had something. I think I had something like that. Maybe I guess I don't really know what an anxiety attack is.
Okay, well, can you describe
Yeah,
it?
but I was
Describe what you were feeling.
so stressed out about shit, and I was like letting my brain just like. I was just getting carried away with it in my head and letting my like mind go down the worst little tunnels, and it got to the point where I was on my bed and I was like. Just like tensing up and I like couldn't go anywhere. Like
Yeah.
I was like actually writhing around and it felt like different muscles were tightening and loosening. I was just like literally just doing this shit on my bed.
Yep.
Like so fucking stressed. And it lasted for like 3 minutes. And then after that, it was like the most like clarity I've ever had because I felt so low for those 3 minutes. I felt so down where I was like, well, I have to do something to not feel like that again. Like, surely
Yeah.
I have to make an effort so that I'm not writhing around in anxiety again. So it was like, while it was like this weird dark place, it was sort of this motivator to like get me up again. But I don't know. That's like not a feeling that I would ever like wish on anyone.
I know exactly what you're talking about, and
It was weird. I think it was the first time where I would like, I feel almost immobilized by like the level of stress that I'm putting upon myself right now.
Yeah.
Like, it was a strange, I guess that's what, maybe, I don't know. Like, I guess maybe an anxiety attack or an episode can manifest in a bunch of different ways, but that was like a really weird, I don't know what you would call that, but
no, I mean
That's what it was, yeah.
that's it's your anxiety. It's your anxiety is like manifesting physiologically in your body, like in a way that like this happens to me in a different way.
yeah.
I don't get panic attacks where like I can't breathe or something.
Yeah, no,
because
yeah.
and I know that like the standard panic attack, you have physiological symptoms that are like I can't breathe, but for me it's like it completely will just like. I mean, I had it happen twice this week. I mean, like real, like
Yeah.
serious fucking like stuff I haven't experienced in a while because like, honestly, like it's because of social media. I've been back on social
Yeah.
media doing shit for our band, and it's just so hard for me because it's like this thing that like, it's so consuming. It just takes everything to do this thing, and I feel weighed down by like. I hate the lifestyle of like being on my phone all day long, but there's no other way to do it. For me, like there's no other way to do it because you just need to have like, you want your stuff to be artistic and real, and like you want to do stuff that's experimental, and you want to do stuff that's like, I don't want to do it unless I feel proud of the work, but I can't feel proud of the work unless I'm really like going in on it. And like, I it's so fucking embarrassing and stupid, but twice this week I was just like, I can't fucking, for like an hour I'm just sitting like pulling my fucking hair out, just like I can't do this anymore, I can't fucking do this. And it's like, this is how I always do it. Every time I try to like go back to like, because we used to post so much, we used to do so much more shit, and like we don't anymore. And I feel like all that time has been put into just getting better at like producing our own music, and I'm so proud of that decision. But like, I also recognize the beauty in like showing ourselves, trying to just like make the right kind of like opening points for new fans that actually want to like,
Yeah.
I don't even want to say fans, just people who want to engage with us in like a more deep way than just listening to our shit. And it's just, man, I think the mind thing that I realized this week that I've known, but it was important for me to like think about was just like, I recognized that like, okay, this week I'm doing something that like I know drives me fucking crazy. It's the worst. It's like nails on a chalkboard all the time. Like I know it's gonna drive me crazy, but I need to find some way to figure it out to where like I can have fun with this again. So it needs to happen. So that means that I just have to find a way to like make it happen. And B, it's like, since I know how I'm going to react to this, I'm expecting something like this to happen because, and I would urge you to look at the circumstance, what led you to that point.
Yeah.
And then be aware, this is what helps me. Like if I'm aware that like, okay, I'm probably going to like, if I'm doing this thing, or if I have to do, because some things in life, you're never going to have a position in life where you just do everything you want to do all the time. You have to do things that drive you crazy to some degree, or you're running from shit. Like life's not just easy all the time. So if it's like there's this hard thing you have to do that you know you react negatively to, like if you just tell yourself ahead of time, like I know this might happen, then in the moment when it's happening, you can at least, even though it's going to happen anyway, you can have some sense of like detachment from the feeling itself, and you recognize that that's not me, that's this thing that is just, it needs to just pass. It's just gonna take time and like I'm gonna be miserable for the next like hour probably,
right?
But it's okay because it's like transient and it doesn't last. And I cannot believe that you can't believe the lies that you're gonna tell yourself in those moments, which I don't know if everyone else experiences that, but when I'm freaking out like that, I'm just thinking the most negative shit.
That's what got me down there. I was just like a chain of negative thoughts. That's what it really was to me. That was like, that's why I felt like I couldn't go anywhere. It was just like, what's the fucking point? Like, why bother? Like what's the point of standing up? Like, why live? Why put any effort into anything? Like those were like the levels of, that is like the shit that will like sink you so fucking low. So it was like, I think there is like recognizing it is such a huge step, right? Like, because I think just what you're saying is like really fucking, it's really applicable because it's just all about, if you could just recognize that this is like not a permanent, this is not me, this is just the feeling.
Yeah, you are not your emotions.
Yeah,
right?
You're not your feel. Yeah, right. That's like such a weird thing to separate from, but I feel that. Like I'm not good at that. I can't do that. That's why I had the anxiety attack. So it's like, but
nobody's
there
like,
is a yeah.
We're not like monks, like who can just like sit around and
think
about this all day long, and like and they have like the best lifestyle, like in terms of like mentally, you can detach yourself from. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I think there is definite. That's the only thing that's made me feel better in those situations has been just when you can't, because obviously you want to avoid things that make you feel shitty. Everybody does that.
Yeah.
Every animal does that. It's like there's stimuli, and if it's like, oh, hot pan, don't touch that again.
Right.
But like sometimes everyone has things in their life that they don't want to do, and there's degrees to that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just self-awareness is the best thing you can have. Just be aware of what stimulates that in you and like what is going to be the inciting incident, and have like a game plan for when it does happen, and realize that you're never going to have a life where it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Ever. That's part of life.
Totally.
Yeah. The thing that because a lot of times I don't know when it's going to come from or where it's going to come from. I just know that like what's helped me with these situations is when it is happening, it's knowing how my body feels when it's happening, because it can happen from anything, you know, like am I just have a lot of negative thoughts? Is there something going on? Like, is there something I have to do? Like, there's so many different things that can trigger that feeling. And like when that happens, I just have to know like, okay, like, you know that this is the start of that feeling, and you're going to feel like shit for like a little bit, but you know, you're going to feel better. Like, you know, maybe at the end of the day, you know, maybe it might extend like, you know, like maybe it's like 20 minutes, maybe it's like a couple hours, but like you will feel better. And like now that like I recognize, like I used to think like, oh, like why do I have like these waves of like these like super strong emotions, and like why do I feel this way? And it's like I know that can pass, and like that like grip it's like it will loosen if you just know that like it is just the grip, you know, like it's not gonna stay. It's like I know how my body feels, like that tenseness, like I can recognize that now, and it's like, okay, well, like I don't have to think about it, because I used to think like, well, if it's that, then what if it's that? Then what if it's that? Am I gonna feel like this forever? Maybe my whole life is fucked because I feel like this right now.
Yeah.
And if you just like feel that symptom, then it's like, okay, well, like that symptom's not gonna stay. That's like honestly the only thing that's like helped me with like that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I will say that my like that sort of really emotional moment for me was a trigger for me to just like change shit, you know? So like anxiety in that sort of way, I feel like can be good because it forces you to sit down and think about your life, right? Or like think about decisions, work shit out. But it's all about controlling it. Like I felt like I couldn't fucking control it in that moment. So that was a little scary, but the I don't know, I guess the cherry on top was the fact that I sort of transitioned it into a motivator. Not like I want to use a bad moment in my life as motivation. Like not like you want to have any bad moments, but hey man, sometimes that's just what you got to do.
You know, that's
Sometimes
life though. Like
that's
life is
baby.
life is just that nobody wants to live a life where it's all good shit. Like it's just not, it's meaningless then. Like as corny as that is, it's true. Like there's just like you're never going to know a good moment until you have like many bad ones.
Right.
And
yeah.
like also, I don't know, it kind of makes, it's just depth. It's just like a deep light. Like I know some people who just avoid, you can go your entire life avoiding thinking like, I'm a dude, so like I'm not gonna be like a fucking pussy right now. I'm gonna be a man about this. I'm gonna like all these like really gross, toxic, like sexist, weird shit thoughts. Like it's just like, but the reality is you're just like a human being, and like you need to just be. You're gonna have this happen, and it's better to just face it and deal with it and feel it while it's happening than to have to go to therapy years and years from now because it's now metastasized and become like a deep-seated issue you can't get rid of.
Right.
Because like avoiding, I don't know, man. Like it just you can't avoid things. You have to just deal with it, even if it sucks. Because you're in the moment afterward. You don't have to worry about like the more you push shit off and don't deal with like personal growth moments like that. Like I just feel like when I've done that, I've run away from shit. It doesn't get better. I don't grow. I don't move past that. I don't know how to like deal, like what we're talking about. Like I don't have the tools to, I don't have the self-awareness to recognize when something's going to happen or why I can't detach myself from the feeling of it. And I'm telling you, it gets better. Like I know like it gets better when you keep, like if you work on that, staying present with it, like you will have less manifestations. Like that's happened to me before when I've gone through extremely stressful periods in my life where like I just want to sit in bed and not get out of bed and just be fucking depressed all day long. And like there's just, this is part of life, I think, for a lot of people. And you know what, dude? Yeah. And you're fucking sick because you, at least if you're feeling things that deeply, you can feel life in a deep fucking beautiful way and appreciate things in a deep way and not just some vapid, dumb, like, I don't know, man. People who are just like, I'm always happy all the time. Well, you're not. You're never happy. You're never happy.
Guys, what happened? Is everyone okay this week? Did we all go through some shit this week,
the
dude?
PM talk.
What happened to us talking about like
talk.
poop and Jared Leto? We need to talk about poop or something. What did we used to talk about? Like shitty stuff. Come on. What is this, man?
I don't mean to be
We're
on
getting
a
all in touch with our
apologize.
fucking feelings and shit, dude. What is this lame shit, bro? No, really. I think that's fucking legit conversation. I just think it's silly.
All right, what did Jared do this week? Anybody have?
I don't know what Jared did, but I think it might be time, okay? It might be time for me to release this onto the world. Something I've been talking about my whole life. And I haven't got a single man behind me, but I think today we're going to open this up to the younger hunger world because I want to get silly.
Okay.
I'm talking about the one, the only, the legendary. Let's get it started, yeah. will.I.Am, baby. will.I.Am.
will.I.Am.
William.
will.I.Am himself.
Will himself. The legend we all know of Black Eyed Peas
producer.
fame, legendary producer. But he's not just that. will.I.Am can be anything he fucking wants to be. will.I.Am is the creator of apps now. He creates his own smartwatches now. He makes theme songs for ET. He makes the face masks.
Yeah, what did it had Bluetooth in it or something?
Something like that.
will.I.Am, and I think I've been saying this since high school. will.I.Am,
You have.
an amazing, thank you, an amazing producer, a fucking total goofball when it comes to this tech shit. For some reason, will.I.Am, I don't know if you've noticed this, Beckett, but he's like, you know how like boomers and like old corporate dudes like latched onto Lil Yachty because they were like, oh, he's like the purveyor of the new generation. And he's like, we can kind of market him enough. We'll just have him do shit, although we don't really know what he's doing. For some reason, like will.I.Am has sort of got that. But for the previous generation, will.I.Am was sort of picked as that, but he's been elevated to almost this like Steve Jobs level of
He's a
like,
guru now.
Yeah, people think he's like a tech wizard and like a genius. And like, oh, we'll just give this guy all the money in the world so he can make some product, or like truly the best thing ever is will.I.Am's Apple Watch competitor, whatever it was.
What?
You guys don't know about this?
No, I don't know about
He
it.
had two of these.
Wait. Explain. What is the device?
So the device, and there's a video. God, I'll send you the video. Maybe you could put it up in the podcast. But it's a device. And this is my impression of him. It's a connected device. It's not a watch. It's a connected device. And it's supposed to help you with your vibe. And this watch has a SIM card. And that's why it's not a watch. Because what watch has a SIM card? And he just talks in circles about this sort of shit, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. These weird tech companies in fucking Silicon Valley just throw a bunch of money at some product and then say, well, let's just have will.I.Am be the head of this company or whatever.
Now, do you think these are his ideas, or you think he's
so
just
I
the face?
think that no, I think it's different. Specifically with the Apple Watch competitor, that I think was his idea, because he has all these sort of features where he's like, yo, for this I wanted to have like vibes. So like basically you put the watch on and it can read your vibe. And it shows what vibe you are by what color. So if you got a green crystal in your watch, you got like good vibes. But like if you got a red crystal, that's like bad vibes.
It's like a mood ring, but you have to pay
it's a mood ring, but
like a vibe ring.
But it's like $500 for it. So he's like, yeah. So like if your mom calls you, you can like see what vibe crystals she has, and like if she's got red vibes, you might not want to pick up. This is real shit. Everyone look up will.I.Am's pulse.
I honestly, and I don't mean to be a contrarian here, I wish I knew everyone's vibe before I picked up the phone. I'll say that right now.
Are you red vibe? Because I don't want to answer if you got
How
red,
does it
bro.
know my vibe?
If I'm
What
if
is
I
a
got like
vibe?
a green
What-
vibe, it's nothing.
Is it my
Tony.
aura?
Tony, it's nothing. That's why.
What
it's
is a
great.
vibe? It's not like
exactly.
Vibe is the most loose sort of term.
But
mean
that's why
anything.
you could use it for anything, because it sort of means nothing. So you could just sort of say the word vibe, and it makes up. That's a word that I'm trying to say less. I'm not doing a good job at it. But vibe, it's just it's so vague.
It's a catch-all.
It's so
It works for
annoying.
everything.
Yeah, it's sort
like
of
the F word.
annoying. And yeah. But will.I.Am has had some great moments. I don't know if you guys remember the Ferguson riots. That night, you guys know what I'm going to talk about. So that shit
Out of
happened.
context.
So all that happened. The verdict went up. It was, and everyone on social media at that moment was just having like, of course, like expressing all their hatred and distaste for this event. And will.I.Am went on Twitter going, "Tonight is the greatest night there has ever been."
Oh my God.
And obviously he was referencing like some show he did in Paris, but it was like the most like,
oh, come on,
it was
dude.
it was really bad timing
The Twitter
to
feed.
post something like that.
That's rough.
But look,
That's rough.
let me just say, we love will.I.Am, all right? He makes great
our
beats.
manager's friends with him, so we have to be.
No. I truly love will.I.Am as a talent. He makes great fucking beats, man. He's a very talented producer. But I wish, man, I
Yo.
wish some tech company would approach us. We have ideas.
And we got vibes for days.
will.I.Am has his pulse. Yo, he's going to read your mama's vibe. He's going to tell you if she's got a red crystal when she's calling. We got all sorts of shit. All right? We got fucking... What do we got?
I mean, we have all kinds of business ideas. Actually, I've had a business idea for the Gloobity Glop.
Okay, go on and explain this to me. So we are the new will.I.Am's. Pitch this like you're pitching to an old
and I will.
fogey.
A Gloobity Glop. It's like a shoe, but it has a SIM card in it. So it's not actually. You can't call it a shoe, but it protects your feet.
It's
from
not a shoe.
Imagine if it's raining outside and you put this on, and your feet won't get wet. And you could read. It could read my vibe.
It'll read your shoe vibe.
Yeah, it'll tell you if my feet are stinky. So maybe you don't want to hang out with me because I have a red stink. Red stink is not a good stink.
Yeah, that's a bad stink. You don't want that. What about green? Because green,
green
that's usually
seems
like a bad
PU.
stink.
Yeah, no.
But yeah.
But it
okay.
could maybe it's like minty fresh too. Misleading.
I don't want to wear no red stink shoes, bro.
No, I don't either.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, I recently,
like
Beckett,
this.
I did the thing you did, and I grew up, and I just bought a bunch of white socks and black socks. And because I was just so sick of looking for socks.
Yeah, I left that.
The pair.
I had to abandon that for like a while ago, a couple years ago, because I only had like patterned socks.
Yeah, me
you
too.
know?
I had those stamp
and
socks.
I had to get rid of that shit. Yeah, you
At
gotta
some
just
point,
go
you gotta
black
just-
or white.
you gotta just-
It's just fucking annoying. Like stance socks are nice. They're
are nice.
well made.
Yo,
socks.
I should talk about the sock dealer that offered me a job. Do you guys remember this? A few years back, I like stance socks. They're well made, right? And I'm looking on Facebook Marketplace. You know, where can I find some cheap stance socks? This guy was like $2 a pair, stance socks. And I was like, oh, bet, dude, I'm fucking there.
So you're
getting
gonna use socks?
Hold on. No, I go to.
I remember this. Oh
I
my God.
go to the location in the Facebook Marketplace, which is conveniently only like a mile from our old house. And I pull up, and it's just a parking lot. And I'm like, where are you? And he was like, and just a door opened, the back trunk of a car, and there was just boxes of socks, okay? And he's like, hey, bro, which one you want? And I was like, hey, man. And I was, I'm pretty friendly with strangers. If I can say so myself. I was charming the guy, right? Thinking maybe I could get a discount or, whatever.
$2
Yeah,
a sock.
something.
Well, maybe he'd give me more. I don't know. But anyway, so I'm charming the guy, and clearly it's working. And he's like, yeah, man, I work at the Stance Factory, and I take all these like unmarked socks and I resell them. So it's the same sock, but they're unmarked. And I'm like, and you can tell these are Stance socks. Some of them have the Stance symbol, but they're like messed up with the ink. Some of them,
yeah.
So I was like, sure, I'll take B-stock Stance socks.
Yeah.
And he was like, and I'm doing the transaction, right? I give him $10, get 5 pairs of socks, and then he goes like, man, you're not bad as a salesman, are you? And I was like, no, I guess not.
It's not.
And he was like, bro, I could hook you up and I'll give you a decent cut of these socks. Like if you want to take a box, you could buy them from me and sell them, and then or we could split the profit. And I was like, what kind of margin are you making off of a $2? You're selling them for $2. What do I get? Like $1? $1 a pair of socks? How much money am I going to make off this? Not enough.
What's your cut?
And as much as I liked the dude's gumption, I was like, there's no way I'm not going to make money
Come
off
on,
this.
man. Come on. Get into the sock game. I love how you met a shady sock dealer.
Yeah,
That's the rarest of all people to meet.
It was crazy, man.
Hey man, what do you want here? I got some Stance socks. I got the Luke Skywalkers here for you. I got the Michael Jackson Thrillers here for you. Come on, man. What do you want?
Yeah, unnamed roommate gets me a pair of socks
Slip your
for
toes.
my birthday every year, but they're always socks that they're funny, but I can't wear them.
Yeah.
I have same thing with the fucking MeUndies underwear.
Yeah, the MeUndies is
Wait.
tough.
Explain to me what an average MeUndies design would be.
Like candy corn.
Yeah.
Or
It's
or
shit a kid would wear.
snowmen. It's all holiday season because
Because you get them on holidays.
'Cause
your
I get
family
them
gets
on
for-
holidays.
You get them
Stocking
in a
stuffers.
Christmas
And-
stocking or like a...
My sister does the same exact thing. She's the best. She's Mrs. Claus every year, but it's like, yo, I can't. There's one time a year I can wear this.
yeah, it's like and they add up too. It's like, well, now I've got polar bears, snowmen, Santa Claus, candy canes. it doesn't fucking end.
It's just so funny because like that's so like it's so uncool. Like honestly, like let me just go into this for a moment. Like if say you were like meeting with some partner that you wanted to get frisky with, you know, and you were like banging, like that's just not a good look on like a first date, you know.
Oh yeah.
To pull it down and it's like the middle.
Or maybe it's the perfect icebreaker.
It's like the middle of June and you're wearing like snowman underwear.
Yeah.
Like it's just a weird, like you just look like a bit of a dork. Like it's not a game. It's not a total. It's not gonna break the situation, but it's definitely like in their head, that's like you get like a -1. You know, I do feel like
it depends, man. I feel like it's kind of funny at the same. If you play it off right.
Yeah,
if you got the right
you can
swag
sort of be
about
like,
it,
you know, it's laundry day and all I got is the holiday.
I'd be like,
So-
or you explain the situation. It's a funny talking point, and if honestly, you got to be kind of an asshole,
Right,
to be
but
like,
also it's like-
well, what am I only supposed to wear these one day? If I wear this one day a year, in like 20 years, I'll have worn them 20 times. Like that's.
But if you're in a situation where you're like someone is seeing your underwear, it's like you don't want to have like a conversation. You know, you're trying to like get something physical going, right?
Yeah, well, you don't want to stop the whole thing,
So you
but
can't be
I
like-
would imagine a situation.
Yeah, you know, because like my sister, like you don't want to like bring up like a family member.
Well, for
or
sure.
yeah. You
I'm
know
thinking
what
like
saying?
afterward.
Okay, yeah.
You're going to breakfast the next day, and it's like, hey, so elephant in the room.
The elephant in the room.
I like polar bears. I only have polar bear underwear. I hope that's cool with you.
That's weird. Because we were talking last time about like the thin line between like something being normal and something being weird.
Yeah.
And like I do think that would be weird where if someone like only had one kind, like if someone only had like underwear with pineapples on them or something, like why?
Yeah.
Like what a weirdly specific thing to only get. Why? Because it's not technically weird. Like you have a lot of different
and
underwear, like everyone does.
yeah.
But why
multiple
all
pairs
one?
of that one novelty.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, rest assured, I put my foot down the other day. I made a decision.
Throw
I
'em all
decided I'm getting rid of, well, you know, I was on the street. I was going on my run, and, you know, the podcast didn't come out, but I had been a person recently released from prison, was homeless, and they asked me if I could have some stuff. And I said, you know what? You need some underwear? And he says, yeah. And I said,
oh, hell yeah.
it's a perfect opportunity. So I run back to my house, and I grab so many pairs of MeUndies underwear.
Right, you
and
gave
I
him
go to the guy,
used underwear.
and I have, you know, I have some other
Lightweight.
stuff in there, and I hand it to him, and it, you know, he told me he killed the guy, like,
And he wanted to come over, and Beckett brought him to our house. So that's a
He
story
didn't
for
make
another
it that far,
goddamn
but,
time.
But he, you know, he's not the type
Good
of dude that you
Samaritan
would
Beck.
see rocking the polar bears or rocking
yeah.
the flamingos.
That's
Yeah.
you know what? That's the exact kind of person I want to see rocking those.
And
flamingos.
so I give him the bag of clothes, and he opens them, and he's going through them, and he's like, he takes out a pair of pants. He's like, nice pants. Takes out a shirt, and he's like, oh, great shirt. Pulls out a pair of bright neon pink flamingo MeUndies underwear, and he looks at it, and he looks at me, and I'm like, and then I start feeling bad. I'm like, I'm sorry, like maybe I should go back and get like a different pair or something.
Oh my God.
And he's like, nah, man, it's my favorite fucking color. And
Nice.
he was so
Nice, dude.
stoked.
Hell yeah.
And so you know what? The flamingos are gone.
Good
and
guy
someone's
Beck.
ag them, and they fucking love them.
Good guy.
I love
Beck.
that, man.
Woo, we
You're
love
a
to hear it.
Good Samaritan Beck is out there.
Let's give him another round if we don't mind. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah. That's I hear you're not supposed to give other people your underwear, but you know I won't bring that up.
Well, a lot of them were unworn, you know.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Because you get them at the Christmas stocking. I
they
get
stay
it.
in the stocking. It still tags on them. Okay,
Yeah.
that's nice.
But
That's nice. Well, don't let your sister hear, or who
Yeah,
gives them
whoever
to
your
you?
mom.
Yeah, or your mom. Don't let your family hear that you don't like them. That might hurt their feelings, right?
All right, should we wrap this up?
yeah, we're over. Well over.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
What happened?
We got really real.
We
for
got
like
real.
25 minutes.
Is that fun?
I think we
It was
got to do it.
depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's depressing.
talk.
No, it
Depressing
had
is
like
life.
it had like a nice ending to it, right? It was like a. Well, I guess we'll find out.
All
Fuck
right,
it.
well,
Therapy cast.
This is art. We got to treat it like art.
Therapy cast, baby. Yeah, this
yeah,
was art.
let's talk about Jared Leto some more on our artistic podcast.
Yeah. There,
There can be dumb moments and great moments, Beckett. Art is a reflection of life.
That's
Yeah,
right.
whatever,
You know
anything
what?
can
I agree
happen.
with that.
Sometimes you gotta just pull out a knife on a random stranger. Sometimes you gotta just give underwear to homeless people. That's the moral of today's episode. Thank you.
Beautiful. Well said.
And good night.
All right. Good night.